Right, hello everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. It is Friday the 5th of September 2025. I'm Tom, and as always, if you're here on YouTube joining me today, thank you very, very much. Please do drop a like on the video, remember to comment away, subscribe to the channel. Again, I've been saying this every video recently, but the support on the channel has been amazing the last few weeks, so let's keep it going. We're on the road to 100 subs. I think we're only about 25-ish or so away, so let's see if we can get there as soon as possible. Really appreciate it. And if you're on the podcast as well, any platform of your choice, thank you very, very much for joining me as well today. Guys, we have made it past the transfer window. It is closed, it is done, the madness is over. I don't have to read Indy Kyler's tweets anymore. It's over, it's done. Today we're going to touch all about Alexander Isak. We're going to do everything that we need to do to determine where he's going to play for Liverpool, how his stats going to fit in. We're going to look at some of his stats. We're going to watch some videos and react to them, tell you what I think. We're going to look at the tactics board and just show you a few ways that I think Liverpool could set up with Isak in the team, and explain how I think he might play for us. So if that sounds good, then stick around because we're going to do all of that in today's video. But first, I did want to show you, I bought some new books. I don't know if you can see, like, here, and there's some more like there off the camera you can't see, but I like football books. I like to read different ones. I bought some new ones, so I thought I'd show you, and you can tell me what you think. I've got this one. It's The 3 Lives of the Kaiser. It's a Beckenbauer biography. Looks pretty cool, right? Looks pretty snazzy. That should be fun. And then I got this one as well, 3-time Ballon d'Or winner Marco van Basten. That should be fun, right? So, yeah, I'm going to give them a read. If you've read any of them, let me know. Or if you've got any recommendations, let me know as well, because that's always fun to hear what you guys like. So, yes, with that out of the way, should we get into the main part of the video today, which is all about Liverpool's new record signing, Alexander Isak. Let's look at some stats. So, earlier today, I prepared this for you all. In true, here's one I prepared earlier fashion. Look, we're going to look at some stats, okay? And I thought looking at some visual representation might be quite fun as well. So I appreciate there's a lot of numbers on the screen right now, but we'll go through them one by one. So don't try and skim read through them all. We'll look through them and I'll explain them. Although I'm sure you already know what a bunch of them are, but we'll go through and I'll tell you my thoughts. So obviously we've got Isak. He's red because he's Liverpool. And we've got Haaland, who most people consider these two to be the best two strikers in the Premier League. I mean, I don't think anyone's really close, to be honest, especially not over the last few years, out and out number 9s. So I thought it'd be interesting to compare them, see where they differ, and see what Isak maybe might bring to the team versus what Haaland brings to Man City, and we can see how they differ a little bit. So I'll explain the table. We've got the stat, obviously. We've got the per 90 numbers, we've got the percentile, so where they rank amongst all strikers in Europe's top 5 leagues over the last year. And I should say all this data is taken from FBref, which is an amazing website. I spend far too much time on FBref, so if you want to read stats, FBref is the place to go. And then the same for Haaland over here with a comparison. And then I tried to colour the percentiles to show kind of how obviously good it is, in case you're more of a visual type of person. The darker green obviously being the better, and the redder it gets, the worse the stat is technically. So let's explain. So this is shooting. Obviously your striker's job is to put the ball in the net, so shooting very important. So let's have a look. As you can see, Isak's non-penalty goals per game is 0.65. So I thought of a good way to explain this stat, because I've tried to do this a few times and I always feel like I'm missing something. But a good way to explain this is basically couple it with the non-pen expected goals per game. Is that if he played 10 games, he would be expected to score around 6 or 7 goals. He would score around 6 to 7 goals, and he would be expected to score around 6. So he slightly outperforms his expected goals per game, which is, I mean, That's really good. That's quite rare, and that's a great sign. If you outperform your expected goals, your actual goals per game of 0.65 is higher than your expected goals, 0.58. That shows that you're a better finisher than what the data expects you to be. We know Isak's an amazing finisher. We can see that is the 90th percentile in terms of non-penalty goals and 89th percentile for non-penalty expected goals. So take away his pens, he scores a goal. He scores about 6 or 7 goals every 10 games. Then we look at Haaland. So he's actually a little lower than Isak in terms of goals per game, non-penalty goals, that is, at 0.57. So around 6 every 10 games for Haaland. Although, as we know, the last year was a bit of a down year for City. So maybe those numbers are a little down for him. The non-penalty expected goals as well, Haaland is really crazy though. Nearly 0.7 per game, 95th percentile is crazy numbers. As we know, he gets crazy chances generated for him all the time. And that's also reflected sort of the difference between them in this average shot distance. So one of the more differentiating stats between the two. So Isak taking his shots from, to be honest, it's only about 3 yards further out, but it makes a difference because you can see he's in the 38th percentile at 14.7 yards, so around the 15 yard mark, and Haaland 12 yards out, 89th percentile. You know, he's on the penalty spot. That's why he does his work in the box. That's just Haaland through and through. Both of them, you know, get in the box. They're great finishers. We know that about both of them. But Isak, this data is showing you, will take shots from further out. Not necessarily a bad thing. That's just what he does. Haaland, we know, pretty much exclusively takes shots from inside the box. And when we look at just pure volume of shots, Isak takes 3.15 per game. Haaland taking 3.64, so about half a shot more per game. Which again, you can see the difference. Haaland 91st percentile, Isak 79th percentile. So Haaland slightly more shots per game. And that could be down to the team as well. You have to factor that in. Isak obviously playing for Newcastle, a slightly worse team than City, even with City's down year last year. Maybe not as dominant, maybe not having a game every single time where his team's the dominant team and he gets loads of chances. That could impact, certainly, but Haaland is an amazing striker as well. So we shouldn't downplay his numbers. So of those shots, the amount that go on target, well, Isak gets about 1.4 on target, which is 90th percentile, and that gives him 45% of his shots go on target, which is 78th percentile, which is good, but it's not like, well, it's not Haaland, who gets 1.78% of his shots. 1.78 of his shots go on target, so more than Isak's. He's also taking more shots, and even though he takes more shots, he actually gets more on target as well. Percentage-wise, nearly half of his shots on target there. You see, the amount of shots he gets on target is 96th percentile. It basically means he's almost getting the most shots on target per game in the world of any striker. I mean, and he barely touches the ball, so it just shows the output he has. But this is a really interesting one, and another big difference here. The goals per shot. So Isak averages 0.2 goals per shot. So that means basically, think of it like this. Every 5 shots he has, one of them is going to be a goal. That's what the data tells you. If he has 5 shots, he's going to score 1 goal. That's basically what we're doing here. Haaland, actually a bit lower down, which you might not expect. You think of Haaland being an absolutely clinical, deadly finisher. Well, slightly worse than Isak. About 0.16 of his shots will be a goal. 57th percentile. So he's kind of, you would say, really below average in that sense with that stat. Yeah, it's a little low. It's more 1 in 6, 1 in 7 of his shots will go in there. I'm not that amazing at maths to do that in my head, the percentage chance there. But yeah, that's the numbers. For shooting, I mean, I'm not going to pick in this video like who's better or anything. I'm just purely giving you a comparison. You can make your own mind up and do what you want with the data, but this is just what I'm giving you. I'm giving you the differences. And the main differences here really are that Isak takes his shots from further out and scores more of his shots. than Haaland does, despite Haaland getting more on target. So when you think about what that tells you, it means Isak's probably more clinical of a finisher. If he's scoring more of his shots despite actually getting less on target, when they do go on target, that means they're going in the net most of the time. So if he gets the ball, they're firing into the corners. Kind of think Robbie Fowler, every shot was in the corner. That's what you're getting with Isak, really. So let's move on to another sort of area of the game, and let's look at passing. And straight away, you'll see it doesn't take a genius to know. If I ask you, what do you think Haaland starts off for passing? You probably say bad, right? It doesn't take a genius to know that. But you can see the stark difference between these two players here. So we'll just go through these the same way as we just did with the shooting, but passes attempted, Isak around 23.5 passes per game, which is 75th percentile for all strikers in Europe's top 5 leagues. Haaland only attempts 12, which is actually first percentile, which means basically as low as it gets for strikers. He is the worst in terms of passes attempted of any striker in Europe's top 5 leagues. If he gets the ball, he's not passing it. He's having a shot. That's what he does. And we know that. You know that from watching Haaland. Passes completed, again, the data kind of backs it up. Isak's completing 76% of his passes, so just under 18 passes there for 80th and 83rd percentile. So he's a pretty good passer of the ball, is what we're seeing. He's not 90th percentile. He's not like a striker who's going to set everybody up. Think Bobby Firmino back in the day. But he's a good passer. He's above average, and he's got that sort of creativity to his game. Even though we're not necessarily buying Isak to set players up, he can do it with these numbers. Haaland, you see the difference. 8.3 passes completed per game, which is just mental, by the way. Just think, he plays football for 90 minutes, one of the highest possession-based teams in the world, the Guardiola team, and he passes the ball to his teammates 8 times. It's crazy. He also probably take kickoffs sometimes. It's wild. 70% pass completion, just a shade under there for Erling. 40th percentile. So he's not, as bad as his actual passing numbers. He actually completes more of his passes than he actually attempts, but in percentage-wise anyway, 40th percentile, but it's still not great. He still gives the ball away quite a lot there. And you can see in the assists, we further get more evidence of this. Isak averages 0.18 assists per 90 minutes. So again, every 5 games, just a shade under there. You're looking at an assist from him, which is pretty good for a striker. Haaland, you're seeing 0.08. So you're going to have to play, around about 10 games for him to get an assist. 32nd percentile. He's not a passer. We know that. And you wouldn't categorize Isak as a passer, but he has the ability to, which is what we're seeing right in front of us. Expected assists for Isak, 0.13, 80th percentile. So pretty good in terms of his actual expected assist numbers. And you think when he's playing with better players around him, no disrespect to the likes of Jacob Murphy and Anthony Gordon, but Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, it's different levels. Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, these players are different gravy compared to those Newcastle fellas. So that's hopefully a stat that could go up with Isak at Liverpool, despite it already being pretty good. And then you have Haaland, 0.06. He basically gets no assists, guys. It's rare that he gets some. And the key passes as well, and the progressive passes. I mean, it's an absolute massive difference. It's like a what's the word? Like a chasm between them. He's at 1.4 key passes per game. And a key pass is essentially a pass that leads to like a shot. That would be considered a key pass. A chance on goal. So 85th percentile for Isak. It's pretty good numbers. This is really good stuff. He's setting people up for shots. To have this many as a striker, when you think of Liverpool's attack will be around him, it's really exciting. Haaland isn't necessarily awful here. I mean, 43rd percentile is not good by any means. Again, not his role in the City team. His role is to be on the end of the key passes, but 0.88. It's just not as high as Isak, and that's something you've got to point out. And progressive passes, so this is passes that go forward towards the goal that you're attacking, obviously. Isak, 3.11, 91st percentile. It's actually really impressive, and it's not something that you'd necessarily think of him as, but the reason I think why this stat is so high is because he has a real ability to be able to receive the ball deep, so come off his defender on the last line, into space, receive the ball, And his dribbling is so elite that he can keep hold of the ball and then pass it forward to a winger or a midfielder who's maybe ran past him. That's where he gets this stat from. You never think of Haaland doing that, do you? You never think of Haaland coming off the defensive line and receiving the ball and bringing others into play. He's always right on the last line, making runs in behind, lingering in the box with his big Norwegian face, ready to head the ball in the net or kick it in with his tree trunk legs. 5th percentile. He's barely making any progressive passes per game. If he's passing the ball, it's going backwards. That's pretty much what that stat tells you. So it's clear Isak's a much better passer than Haaland. I mean, I said I wasn't going to say who's better or worse, but this is just obvious. But also he does more of it. And it does make me wonder, like, how will these stats look at Liverpool? Because will Arne Slot want him to be the kind of player who does link up play? I think yes. Or will he want him just on the end of chances, like what we see with Haaland? It'll be interesting to watch. So let's have a look at possession. We did talk a little bit there about Isak's dribbling ability, and this is kind of where we'll see that. Again, we're seeing quite a lot of differences here between the two players, so let's have a look. Touches of the two players. Again, this is just absolutely crazy. I mean, for Haaland's numbers, really. This is pretty normal stuff for Isak. 34 touches per game at Newcastle, 74th percentile. It's nothing that really jumps out the page at you. He's getting on the ball a fair bit. He's effective with his touches. I think we can say that. You know, he's scoring this amount of goals with that many touches is great. But this is just absolutely astronomical, really. 21 touches of the football in a game, 1st percentile. He touches the ball less than basically any other striker in the world during a game. Yet we all consider him the best or one of the best strikers in the world. It's astounding, really, these numbers from Haaland. He's such a unique player in the way that nobody else has stats and output like him. It's bizarre. But Isak, you can see kind of across the board so far, pretty much all green. He's really like a unicorn type player. And that's what I mean by that is someone who can kind of do it all. He's kind of magical in that sense that he has the ability to do things we haven't seen before. He can do everything. You look at this, take-ons attempted. He's attempting 3 per game. Haaland only 1 for 85th and 22nd percentile respectively. So 3 times a game, Isak will try and dribble around someone. Haaland once, he might try it, maybe to get a shot off. Isak completing 1.5, which is 91st percentile. And that's where you see this dribbling ability that he has. That's what everyone's really excited about with him. His dribbling is like top of the range. He has those long sort of wiry legs that allow him to be really agile on the ball, but he generates so much power as well in his shooting with them. I know we're moving away from dribbling there, but the dribbling that he can do, he's so technically good, so precise with his ball control, just a really top dribbler. And you see percentage of successful take-ons, 48%, 85th percentile. It's just really genuinely elite numbers. Haaland 35%. Again, not a dribbler. You think of Haaland, he's just shooting. That's why his shooting numbers are so elite. Carries, so basically dribbles, 20.6 per game for Isak. Basically double the amount that Haaland will dribble with the ball, or at least move with the ball at his feet. Again, he's got so much confidence in his dribbling ability, and that's something he's going to bring to Liverpool. I think being able to dribble, draw defenders on, maybe dribble past defenders against, you think of a team sitting deep, can he get on the ball, maybe dribble past someone and make space for a shot? He certainly can with these numbers. And the carries, so he's running forward with the ball a lot as well. These carries, you know, of the 21 a game, 3 of them are going forward. And for a striker, you know, that's exciting because he's already forward. So if he's able to get the ball and then run forward with it, already being the normally the furthest forward player, shows his ability and his confidence. We all remember that sort of run he made against Everton where he just legs everybody down the line, made them all look stupid, and then set a goal up. I mean, that's an exact reason why there. Haaland, again, not really doing much of that. And then this one here, this one's an interesting one, to be honest. I thought this was really interesting because Isak receives 25 progressive passes per game. So he's actually, when you think of a pass going forward, he's getting on it 25 times in the game. So you think of Florian Wirtz giving him the ball. Florian Wirtz, one of the best progressive passers in the world at Leverkusen. So able to pass the ball forward a lot, and Isak able to get on it a lot, 85th percentile. That's going to hopefully be a dynamic duo in the Premier League. Whereas Haaland, this is really interesting. doesn't really get that many progressive passes, only 12th percentile. And I think the reason why is because, first of all, he never gets on the ball. So that's naturally going to bring his receiving of progressive passes down. But I think a lot of the times he gets the ball from cutbacks or crosses, which aren't passes forward into his feet. That's just not his game. So that's kind of where you see that one. The difference between them again, he's like much more comfortable coming towards the ball and getting on the ball, which I think suits the slot system where everybody is, everybody has the ability to take the ball, move it, dribble, be fluid in their play. Think of PSG with all those really fluid attacking players they had last year. I think our attack has really improved to that level this season, which is great. In terms of miscontrols, so stat speaks for itself. How many times they receive the ball and they miscontrol it, so they lose possession. 2.1 times for Isak, which is 76th percentile. It's okay, but I think with his dribbling numbers, this could go up. I think he's got the ability. Maybe just needs to take a little bit more care. Haaland 1.5, which is 92nd percentile, so really, really impressive. But I think when you think about how many touches he's having, he's barely having any, so that naturally brings his miscontrolled numbers down because he doesn't miscontrol it as much, because he doesn't get the ball as much. This is maybe a little bit of a fake stat here, but put it in anyway just to show a little difference between them. So that's possession. Again, it's pretty clear Isak the better dribbler. I think everyone would agree that. And that's a real key attribute for Liverpool, especially when we consider later on how he might line up in the team. And I'll show you that a little bit later on. But for now, let's go to defending and heading. So last table we'll look at here. But defending and heading, so couple these together. So defensive stats, he tackles, so quite similar, both of them. Well, almost identical, actually. In the attacking third, they both make 0.2 tackles per game. So decent enough pressing forwards, not crazy numbers, but to be honest, you don't really want this level of player legging round at the front trying to make tackles. In my opinion, you want them to save their energy for putting the ball in the back of the net. Obviously they can press, but they can be clever in it and not charge around making tackles. I think that's something that I would want from these two players. Interceptions, Haaland actually much better interception wise than Isak. Isak not very strong defensively, you've got to say. Again, Newcastle, he's absolutely by far the star man. They probably said to him, "You don't really need to do much defending, Alexander lad. You just chill out there, and we'll do the running for you." Haaland does work really hard, and he is obviously so physical and so big that he gets in the way a lot. And at City, they have an amazing press. They always have, and he does actually do his bit, Haaland. So give him credit there. Decent numbers at 59th percentile for a player of his quality. Now, this is where Isak can definitely improve. His aerial numbers are not amazing. They are pretty poor, in all honesty. Only wins 33% of his aerial duels, 0.87 per game. Haaland, basically a whole aerial duel more won per game than Isak at 1.91. For only 50th percentile, but still better. Shows you how poor Isak actually is in that sense. Luckily, I don't think it's not a nightmarish level stat. Certainly could improve. I think this is because he's quite slight. So he when he's challenging for long balls, Newcastle play a lot of long balls as well. When he's challenging for long balls from the goalkeeper, the centre-backs can often just win the header because even though he's tall, he's quite slight, so he's not the most physically imposing striker. Saying that though, his aerials lost are actually okay. So the lower the number here, the higher your percentile, as you can see. And the loses 1.74 per game, so it's actually 74th percentile, so it's not too bad. He just doesn't compete all that much in the air, which is maybe the takeaway here. And that's something he'd need to improve at Liverpool, although we are a ball playing side, more so than Newcastle, I would say. Haaland loses 1.45. He barely loses a header, 85th percentile. And he actually wins 57% of his duels, which is 94th percentile. So you can see how high that number is, even though he only wins just over half his duels in the air. That's how hard it is to win a header against centre-backs in the Premier League. So that's a lot of stats, a lot of nerdy stuff. If you like that type of thing, please let me know, because I certainly do. I spent a little bit of time today making these exact tables for you, and I hope that you enjoyed me going through them as well. So with that said, should we go to a bit more something a a bit of something different. Let's go watch some videos of him playing against some top teams. All right then, guys. So in this video, this is Alexander Isak against Liverpool. He scored against us in this game. So what I'm going to do is just play through the video. It's only a couple minutes long, and I'll just pause and kind of talk through what I think. We'll go through it together. I like to watch these ones because it gives you a full picture of a whole game rather than just these good moments. So let's see what we find. So here he is taking on Van Dijk. You can see the dribbling. He always give Van Dijk problems. And then Gomez. You look at him coming in on that left-hand side, picking the ball up deep here. And there you see exactly. Let's go back to that just quickly. I won't pause it all the time, but this is a good example. So here we see him picking up the ball in this pocket. Like we said in the stats, he likes to come off the defensive line, actually receive the ball. A lot of pressure on him, but you see the way he's just able to maneuver it, dribble out of Liverpool's sort of press, and make a bit of space for himself. And then how quickly he's able to see he's actually just behind me here, but Jacob Murphy is over here, and Isak, no problem, will just play this ball through to him. It's a great ball, creates a chance for Newcastle. That's the type of stuff that he has in his locker, the progressive passes. Here's his dribbling. I mean, just look at him destroying Gomez. Oh my god. Oh, he just taking him on the what's it called? The what are the things called? The horses in England at theme parks, the merry-go-round. Is that what I'm talking about? Yeah. And then this is the goal. 1v1 with Van Dijk. Just the absolute power in the shot is crazy, really. I think it was the most powerful shot recorded last year in the Premier League. Wild, really. Here he is again, dropping deep, playing balls. Look at the confidence to play them. Either side of the pitch. Actually, a good tackle there from Kwanzaa. Well done. Look at the pace, dribbling from deep. He's got it all. He's either side as well. What I mean by that is, sometimes you'll see him at this right-hand side of the pitch. Sometimes you'll see him over on the left-hand side, like we saw him here in this clip. A lot of players nowadays, they'll drift to the opposite side of whatever foot they are. Isak's pretty comfortable on both sides. I just think that's something to note. He's got the ability to drift on either side. Van Dijk in the way there, of course. More dribbling. You see the confidence. He's always trying little tricks. Not always coming off, but the confidence he has, the ability. Left foot, he'll use it. Sets up another chance there for Gordon. Probably should score again. Running at his defenders, so aggressive. Actually scored again there, but he was offside. I mean, just look how deadly he is here. So let's just watch those again quickly. So here he is. Picks up the ball. Great first touch. Doesn't allow anybody to get near him. Again, he's slightly just dropped off that defensive line. And look, quickly sees the pass to Gordon. Left foot, no problem. Threads it through. Creates a chance. Gordon should score. So that's the passing ability. And then here, has the ball and has no doubt in his mind what he's going to do. So aggressive, running at the centre-back. Backs his ability. Look, cuts inside Gomez. Cuts inside Van Dijk. Hits the shot. Look where it lands, right in the corner. It would have been a brilliant goal, if it had counted. Look, left foot, first time, linking up play. First time again. Link-up's fantastic. Goes down there. Again, right wing this time, tries a little trick, doesn't come off, but that's what he's willing to do, that, try tricks. You see how many times he's playing the ball forward here. You could argue that was almost a foul by Kwanzaa, honestly. Look, left side this time, drifting wide, another good ball, another great ball. The passing is really good, more dribbling. Look how many players he's trying to take on. Free kicks, not the best at free kicks. I've never seen him really take those. And after Soberslai's one the other week, I don't think he'll be taking them for us. But yes, that's the end of the Liverpool game. But don't worry, we're not done. We're going to go look at another one. But I think you can see there, just it shows already different things. I know that goes by pretty quick. But let's just take a look at some of these favourite clips of mine. So I think this one here is just amazing. The way, if I put it let's put it in a slow motion sort of. Oops, not quality. Let's go in half speed. We can maybe watch this one a little bit better. So he's got Gomez. He just squares him up. Right foot, little roll. Left foot touch. Gomez doesn't know where to go. Turns him inside out. And then has the ability to play the pass and create the chance as well. I mean, just look at the ball roll. It's just really, really good. Look at the focus he's brought. I mean, let's just take that back just a second. Look at the focus of Liverpool's defence. I mean, every single player that you can see on the screen is locked in to Isak. No one has even noticed the player at the back post. That's the gravity he brings. Can you imagine if this is Florian Wirtz or Mo Salah or Dominic Szoboszlai coming onto this and they can hit this ball? Like, it's really scary. Okay, next one is against Arsenal then in the Cup. So I picked out these big games that he played in because I think they tell you the most about a player a lot of the time. Again, bringing players into play. Great shot there from Joel Linton. Really good effort. Classic Joel Linton. Look, physical battle competing with Saliba. Left foot down the line. You can see how confident he is using both feet. Getting to the byline. Dangerous crosses. So much pace. So much technical ability. Dropping deep. Just linking up. Nothing crazy. Again, back to goal. Left-hand side. Dropping off that back line again. Can you play forward? No problem. Absolutely no problem. That ability he has to do that is just so key. Look, on the half turn, brings the winger into play. Again, running at the defenders. Bit of a poor ball there. Here's his goal. Left foot, instinctive, first time. Get the thumb out. I can't wait to see this one at Anfield, guys. I really, really can't. You can see the zip he has on some of his passes, and like the technical ability on this guy is absolutely off the charts. I say as he takes a little bad touch there. But look, always in the pockets, drawing players in towards him and then bringing others into play. Look at the first touch here in the box. Look at this. Look at the gravity he's under. Look at the gravity he's drawn. Again, 3 players so close to him. No problem because he's dribbling so good. Digs out a shot. Good save by Raya, and Gordon taps it in for the goal. Again, deep, no problem. Links up and goes off there with a brilliant game played. Let's look at this clip again. Where is it? This one. Comes deep. Turns. Defenders aren't with him. Crisp pass. Really crisp. Gets Murphy on it. Really, really good play. Let's look at one more, which is Man United. Okay, Man United then. Let's have another look at this one. So, what have we got? A few intros here of him doing a few tricks. Let's watch the game, please. Here we go. Okay, ball out wide. Coming in off that left-hand side. He's super dangerous when he does that. Picking the ball up deep. Look, Delict, see you later. See you later, Casemiro. Look at the dribbling, just taking players on. Again, dribbling again. Shooting. Dribbling again. The dribbles are endless with this guy. Look, dribbling again here, running forward. I mean, he completely ran this game against United. Header. Goal. He's not the best header of the ball in terms of winning duels, but if you give him a free header in the box, it's a goal. That's too easy. You see all 3 of these games, he scores a goal, big games, scoring goals, taking on players. Now this one I wanna show you all. So this is where he can be a little too overconfident. Okay. He's running through. You can't actually see him. He's behind me, but he's just there where my cursor is, and he's got Onana one-on-one, and he tries a little chip, and he just completely messes it up. This is where I think he can be a little overconfident and backs himself maybe too much. You see, he just chips it straight to Onana's hands, and Onana actually manages to make a save, which is how you know it was a bad shot. He should lever that at the far corner there, like he does with this one. I mean, just look at this shot. Bang. Look at that. It was offside, but what a strike. Look, physical duel again, winning fouls. He's not afraid of that physical side of the game, despite him being quite wiry. He's got wiry strength, I would say. Even though he doesn't look necessarily like the biggest, bulkiest player, he is strong. See the ball rolls, just no fear in his play at all. Look at that side, absolute grass cutter of a pass there. Technique is amazing. And there we go. That's another clip. They beat United 2-0 in that game there. So that's another one reacted to. Let's move away from this and go and have a little look on the tactics board at how Liverpool might line up with him in the team. All right, so what I've done here is on the board, I've just put what I think Liverpool's strongest team is on the board at this present moment in time. If everyone was fit, I'd play this against Burnley. If everyone was fully fit and I wanted to play my full strength team, Isak will not start against Burnley, but nonetheless, I put him in to show how we could line up. So it's pretty obvious. We could line up with a front 3 of Gakpo on the left, Isak at striker, and Salah on the right. That's one way we can play Isak in this team. It does mean, obviously, that Hugo Ekitike drops to the bench. He's had a great start to his career. And a lot of people are saying, well, what does it mean for Ekitike? He's not going to play. First of all, forget that. We're going to play 60 odd, 65 games this year. And Ekitike and Isak, I bet you at the end of the season will both have around 50 appearances each. I bet. Unless they get an injury. Hopefully not. They're going to play a lot of minutes. There's no doubt about that. Okay? If one of them starts the game, the other one's probably coming on, unless it's a massive, massive game and we're maybe losing. That's going to happen a lot. One thing, obviously, that people have said we can also do is take Gakpo out of the team and play Ekitike here. Now, Ekitike, I think, will be more than viable at left wing. I think he's shown the ability early doors to be able to run in these channels. His dribbling skills also great, and he's a very similar player to Isak. But Isak is a number 9. We don't play Isak out on the left. He doesn't like to play there. He wants to play number 9, and that's where he is best. It's the same as people saying we should play Florian Wirtz out here. Florian Wirtz is a number 10. He's not a left winger. You don't buy a player for £100 million to play them out of position. You just don't do it. So he's going to play number 9. He's our best number 9, and he'll be playing in our best, most important games. Ekitike doesn't necessarily mean he is now a bench player. There is so many games to play, he will start a lot of games. That's another thing that we could do. Now, there is also the small break in the season for Mohamed Salah when he goes to AFCON. So a lot of people have talked about this. Let's move Salah out of the team. It might mean that we end up seeing something people think like this for Liverpool. So it might be a little sort of, let's move Szoboszlai to right midfield and put Frimpong in at right back. It might be a bit of a 4-4-2. I completely disagree with this. This is an out of possession look. People think in possession it might look more like a diamond, like sort of this. But for me, that means then that when we lose the ball, you can't defend in a diamond in the Premier League. This is not how you would defend. If the other team had the ball, they just kick it wide and they're 2v1. You can't defend in a diamond like this. McAllister also doesn't have the legs to get out here and cover on the wing. Szoboszlai does, but that's a different story. So it would mean that when we lose the ball, these players would have to drop into a 4-4-2 like we saw Arsenal do against us. But Wirtz, we don't want Wirtz defending as a left winger. It's just our left midfielder. That's not what you want to do. I don't think we'll ever see Liverpool play a 4-4-2 like this, really. I think a much more likely thing to do when Salah goes to AFCON is we see Ekitike on that left wing. We see the midfield. This could be McAllister, could be Jones, could be anybody. Let's put it like this. And I think we're much more likely to see Szoboszlai at right wing, seeing as he can now play every position on the football pitch, including the goal. Or we might even see something like that. With Frimpong, I think, could play right wing and create sort of a balance where it's like, okay, it's not a 4-4-2. We have a right winger and we have a left winger. And when we defend, it'll be the same way that we defend now, where we defend in that 4-3-3 shape, sort of, with Gravenberch just the number as the holding midfielder, and then Jones the one next to him, rather than a flat 4-4-2 like this. But because we have Szoboszlai at right back and Frimpong at right wing, it allows us to move Szoboszlai into the middle like we've seen, and Frimpong to use his pace to get up and down this line, where he can act as a right back when Szoboszlai comes inside. And there we're seeing the 4-4-2, but this will not be how we set up to rest defend. It'll be a rest defence with an actual 4-3-3. I think that's what we'll see when Salah goes to AFCON. Now, when Salah goes to AFCON, it doesn't necessarily mean that, Ekitike and Isak will play every game together. There'll be lots of games where we don't see Ekitike and we see Gakpo, and we end up with just this, which is just a normal Liverpool team, except this is Frimpong and not Salah. It might be Szoboszlai, like I said. They might do something like this. Who knows? But I don't ever think we'll see a 4-4-2. And I think anyone who says that we'll see a 4-4-2, basically, I'm saying you're wrong. I don't think we will. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't think we'll play 4-4-2. One last thing, I want to show you Liverpool's fixture list and explain why Isak and Ekitike are going to play lots and lots of games this year. And also, anyone who says we're going to play 3 at the back, they should be banned from talking about football. We'll never play 3 at the back with Arne Slot in charge. So there's that as well. Let's go look at the fixture list. All right, so fixtures coming up for Liverpool then. International break ends. We will play on Sunday, the 14th of September. Obviously, we have Burnley. And Isak is called up to the Sweden squad. They play tonight. It is Friday, so they play tonight. I will be watching. I think a lot of his minutes are dependent on how much he plays for Sweden now in this break. I mean, I don't know yet if he's starting tonight or if he's coming off the bench. I don't know. I don't know how many minutes he'll play if he does come off the bench, but I personally don't think he plays more than about 15-20 minutes against Burnley. Hopefully we have the game won by that point as well. And then you can see 3 days later we have Atletico Madrid, and this basically continues with games every 3 days, 4 days until Chelsea when we have another international break at this point. So we've got 7 games, and I think it's about 17, 18 days, something along those lines. Maybe a bit longer. I haven't done the exact calculation on it. Maybe it's about 20 days. But it's a lot of games coming up. So I think if you look at it like this, maybe 15 minutes here against Burnley. And then I think Atletico, I don't think he starts, but I think maybe a longer substitute appearance, maybe half an hour, maybe a half, something along those lines. Then I think Everton, this could be the first game he starts for me. I think this could be the first game he starts, and he maybe plays 60 minutes in this game. Then I don't think he plays in the Cup. Isak, maybe he comes on off the bench, but he might even get a full rest this week because we'll need him to start against Crystal Palace. And then I don't think he starts against Galatasaray. I think Ekitike will start and he'll come off the bench. And then Chelsea, he starts this one. And by that point then, he's fully up to speed. And that'll mean starts against Everton, Palace and Chelsea, in my opinion, with probably bench appearances, extended bench appearances against Galatasaray and Atletico, maybe, with a couple minor appearances against Burnley and Southampton. So you can see there's plenty of game time for Ekitike and Isak and Gakpo and Salah and everybody to go around. And that is how I think Isak fits in at Liverpool all in all. Like a glove, because he's fucking boss. So everybody, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we are trying to get to 100 subscribers, which is crazy to think already. So please do subscribe, and remember to rate the podcast if you listen on the podcast. Comment away as well if you did enjoy the video and what you thought to some of the things we went through today. Went through some stats, we went through some watch along of some clips, and we looked at the board as well to see some potential lineups as well as our fixtures. Coming up, that Isak is going to play in. It's exciting. He's here. I mean, I cannot wait to watch him play for Liverpool. It's crazy that he's even signed for us. Still, can't wait. Until then, guys, next time I speak to you will probably be later in the next few days, I think. Thinking of doing a transfer special video now that the transfer window is finished, maybe wrapping up every single transfer that happened. Let me know if that's something you want to see. If there are any other videos you want to see, let me know in the comments as well down below. But until I next speak to you, I hope you have a really, really good weekend and enjoy a weekend of no football. You know, do something and enjoy yourself. And I'll speak to you when I see you next. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.